Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the New Orleans Saints versus Carolina Panthers Week 13 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. It's a weekly collection. There's always going to be some variation between various data points. However, there's always going to be little nuggets of truth that could become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So, starting with this matchup between the Saints and the Panthers. When you get to the NFL stat basic comparison data, and basic comparison data essentially looks at how the offense is doing, how the defense is doing, and of course how the special teams is doing. It takes all that information, all that macro data, and puts it into one number. And based on all this information, the Carolina Panthers are actually favored in this game. So let's get into some reasons why. First off, the Saints do have the better offense. When you look at turnover percentage, for example, the Saints have a much better ability to not turn the football over. The Saints have a better ability to not allow sacks compared to the Panthers. The Saints are also better in terms of offensive score percentage, so the Saints basically put up more points on every single drive compared to the Panthers. But defensively, this is kind of where the Panthers get a slight edge. The Panthers have the better defensive offensive score percentage. The Panthers have the better sack percentage, and though the Saints have the better turnover, basically the Saints are better at creating turnovers and getting interceptions. The Panthers are just better in terms of that combination of being able to sack the quarterback and prevent points. So, for the most part, the Saints do dominate on offense. Their defense doesn't really dominate per se, but they definitely create turnovers. And that's kind of the basics here. Now, it is important to remember that the first time the Saints and the Panthers met, the Saints, there's no other way to put it, they completely demolished the Panthers. Big reason why is because I think it's because of that matchup. Because the fact that the Saints can create turnovers, and that's kind of the big weakness of the Panthers, it just makes them kind of look lost or out of sorts, if you will, when that happens. So, but overall, I would just say that this is kind of my general vibe of this game. Is it could be very similar to the last game, or it could actually be more so in the Panthers' favor if they learn from their mistakes from the first game. And then when you get to special teams data, just kind of wrap all this stuff up. Punting yardage favors the Panthers. Kick return yardage favors the Panthers. Defensive punt return yardage, defensive kick return yardage also favors the Panthers. Field goal percentage also. So basically, the Panthers have a better place kicker in terms of that percentage. Extra point percentage is pretty much the same between both these teams. And then punting average more so favors the Saints. So special teams-wise, I would actually give this advantage to the Panthers as well. So to kind of recap, the Panthers have the better defense. They have the better special teams. And the Saints have the better offense in general. So more on this later in terms of final judgments on this game, but definitely kind of something to kind of keep in mind as we go into this game. Now when you get to some other sort of matchups, so looking at some down and distance data, situational football as Bill Belichick likes to put it, when you look at the completion percentage data between the Panthers offense and the Saints defense, the Saints are favored here in terms of first, second, and third down. So the Saints most definitely, I think, are going to be successful in terms of those particular downs and distances. Then, of course, you look at the Saints offense versus Panthers defense, where the Saints are favored on first, second, and third down in all those areas. Again, the Saints are just amazing. They've been amazing this year when it comes to their completion percentage and all those downs. They've been better than the Chiefs in many ways. The Chiefs started out really well and then kind of dipped. The Saints have been constant in terms of their ability to maintain really high completion percentage data. Then, of course, you get to rushing downs. Panthers rushing offense versus Saints rushing defense, which is basically the ability to create first downs to the run in various downs and distances. And in this particular area, the Panthers are favored on first, second, and third down. So the Panthers, I think, will have success rushing the football in this game against the Saints defense, which is kind of the weakness of the Saints defense, is the inability to prevent the run. Then, of course, you get to the Saints offense versus Panthers defense in terms of rushing downs. And in this area, the Saints are favored on first and second down. Third down is the only area where the Saints are a little, that's the one area where I think they might try to improve a bit, is their ability to get first downs on third down. Then we get to passing downs. Panthers passing offense versus Saints passing defense. In this area, the Saints are actually favored on first and third down, which again reiterates the point that this could be a good matchup for the Saints as it was in the first game, where the Saints could continue to have a lot of success like they did last game. So definitely kind of something to keep track of. Then, of course, you get the Saints offense versus Panthers defense, where the Saints are favored on first, second, and third down. Then we get to sack rate between the Panthers offense and the Saints defense, where the Saints are favored on second and third down. So both of those are key downs and distances. If the Saints are going to win this football game, they need to create sacks on second and third down. No ends or, they have to do it. Then, of course, you get to the sack rate for the Saints versus Panthers. In this particular area, the Saints are favored on first and third down. So I think the Saints will probably do a good job in terms of preventing sacks in those particular downs and distances. Then we get to interception ratio between the Panthers offense and the Saints defense. Key matchup to watch is third down. The majority of the interceptions the Saints have been able to generate have come on third down, and the majority of the interceptions that the Panthers have thrown, that Cam Newton has thrown, have come on third down as well. So that's the big down and distance kind of watch in terms of interceptions. And then finally, we get to the Saints offense versus Panthers defense in terms of interceptions. And in this particular area, the Saints are favored on first, second, and third down. So definitely, this is pretty much, I doubt the Saints will throw any picks because they've done a very good job in terms of not turning the football over in terms of through the pass this year. So overall, general feelings about this game. It is a rematch, of course. It's a rematch of the previous game. So you could either say, well, the same thing is going to happen this time around that happened last time around, which is the Panthers turn the football over a lot. They're out of sorts on offense, and then the Saints defense just dominates. And, of course, the Saints offense does what it does, which is always very efficient, always gets the job done. Or the Panthers come into this game, they've learned from their mistakes, they've gotten a little bit more efficient on offense, and they make it a game, and then they actually win. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you believe is going to win this football game? I think the Saints are going to win again because I think that the Saints offense is going to maintain what it does best. And I think the Saints defense, which has been in a bit of a rut, I think gets out of it this week because the bottom line is Cam Newton has never been the most efficient quarterback. He's always been kind of turnover prone. And I just think that this is just it's from a matchup standpoint, it just makes sense that he probably will struggle against his team again. So again, I could be wrong, but I definitely think that this is just a game where I think the Saints will win, just because they'll continue. The defense I think will do really well against this Panthers offense, match up really well, and I think ultimately that can lead to lots of success. And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.